Please welcome AIPAC Director of International Affairs, Stephen Schneider.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you to our showcase session this afternoon. Today's program spans the depths and heights of Israel and the Jewish people. We will explore the forgotten victims of the Holocaust, the promise of Israeli social innovation, and the excitement of its race to the moon. Then we'll come back to earth for a frank discussion of efforts to delegitimize the Jewish state on the world stage. Our first speaker is an ordained Catholic priest who has dedicated his career to Holocaust education and research. For his famous book, Father Patrick Desbois traveled around Eastern Europe to interview witnesses and gather evidence on the location of mass Jewish gravesites from the Holocaust. The book, entitled The Holocaust by Bullets, A Priest's Journey to Uncover the Truth Behind the Murder of 1.5 million Jews, sheds light on the actions of the Nazi mobile units in Ukraine. Today, Father Desbois serves at Georgetown's Center for Jewish Civilization. He has made it his mission to educate future generations about the Holocaust and the creation of Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my dear friend, Father Patrick Desbois. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
That's the end of my French. Okay.
Boker Tov is better.
Boker Tov. I've had the honor and pleasure of knowing you for a number of years. My wife teaches with you at Georgetown. I'm always fascinated how a Catholic priest such as yourself became interested in this issue of the Holocaust, and what compelled you to go on this journey of forensic research?
You know, my grandpa, Claudius Desbois, was deported in 1942 from France to Ukraine. He was not Jew, he was not communist. And when I went in the village called Ravaruska, I discovered that they shot 18,000 Jews in public, and nobody wanted to speak. And it took me 5 years, I would say, to find the first mass grave. I realized that Jews were shot in public, that all the village was coming to watch. And suddenly, a mayor brought me in a forest with 50 farmers present at the killing, and they spoke. So I say, come on, if I can find the evidence about one killing through the farmers, through the archive, through the bullets, I must do it. And it was a simple decision, perhaps also something min hashamayim.
You know, you're a man of the cloth.
I try to be.
Do you think, as you go to these small towns and villages, that your profession, your visibility as a priest, affords you the ability to talk and hear more honestly from the citizens of these areas where there may have been mass executions?
It's true. We are now 29 full-time working in my organization called Yachad, together. We are not here to judge, we are to know what happened. I will give you an example. It was a beautiful Sunday in July. A woman was on a bench like us today, and she said, the German told me, come, come. She had to come with her spade, and in fact, she had to go barefoot on the dead Jews between every shooting to pack the corpse. And suddenly she said, I saw all my schoolmates, Jewish schoolmates arrived, and I had to walk on them like the others. And she said, I dreamt all my life to find somebody to say that. All these people were involved in the killing, and they want to speak before to die. So it's why we have filmed now 6,000 witnesses. We found back the mass grave of 1.5 million Jews who have been shot. It stays 700,000 to find, 2 times Auschwitz. So I felt like a duty, to interview these people. Last week, I was with Georgetown students, and we found the lady. It's the first time she spoke since 42, and she was the only witness of a shooting of 5,000 Jews. She sat in front of all my students, and she spoke during 1 hour. They want to speak. So like that, we can get the evidences of Holocaust and be strong against the deniers, because it was a crime.
When you speak to these people and they either were witnesses or they know people or their family members were complicit in this, do you think they have a sense of guilt?
No, it's not my question. Even if the guy he was working in Gestapo, for me, is the best witness because he knows everything. So I'm not looking for guilt, I'm looking for evidences. So if for each crime we have Soviet archive, German archive, Polish archive, bullets, cartridges, and hours of filming of interview. So for me, the best challenge is to help the next generation of Jews to be strong, to know Holocaust was not a tsunami, it was a crime. Every Jew saw his killer, every killer saw the Jew. We have to teach that as a fact, not as a belief. So it's why I think we need to find all these evidences village by village. It begins in Lithuania, it finishes in Azerbaijan. It's a full continent of shootings.
Do you feel that you are racing against time in your work?
Yeah, because the witnesses are not young. We estimate that it stays 3 years of investigation, so we accelerate the rhythm of investigation. And I work in the same time in Iraq against ISIS because it's the same evil. It's the same evil today that it was in 42.
I want to raise the issue of complicity, which has become, I think, a more widely discussed topic over the last year or so for various reasons. Your sense on people's understanding of complicity, has your view of people who were complicit in genocide, has your view changed of these people or their crimes?
People were happy to participate to the killing of Jews or gypsies because it was legal first. And secondly, they could take the belongings. And secondly, most of the time they could rape the girls. So complicity was, I would say, complicity as a crime. Hitler never missed workers. So, when I began this investigation, it was in Ukraine. I say, oh, bad Ukrainian. After I went in Poland, I say, bad Polish. After I went in Russia, I didn't say bad Russia because you lose your visa. So, and now, I'm in Iraq, in the same killing by ISIS and Al-Nusra and Al-Qaeda, there is no Polish and no Lithuanian and no German. It's a human disease. No mass killer is missing workers. So it's not only complicity, it's a human question. A mass killer is never missing workers.
I'm going to confess that this next question I did not pre-prepare, but I feel it's necessary. Do you actually believe the sentence, never again?
Never again today. Never again today. I will be in Iraq in 2 weeks. It's today. In spite of what we say, ISIS is not dead. ISIS are still slaves. ISIS has trained thousands of children to put bombs in the next generation, and we try to debrief. We have 4 centers to help these children. Never again if it's today, yes. Otherwise, it's a soft illusion. No, I am really against this expression, except if it gives you responsibility to fight against the same evil with through Islamists killing people in the same way the Nazis did it.
We have, unfortunately, we have time for one more question, and we need to wrap up. But I want to kind of move ahead from the historical to today and the issues of anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism. You come from France, and clearly what we've been seeing in terms of the reports over the last couple of weeks about dramatic increases of anti-Semitism in Europe, close to, I think, 80% in France reported. The Dutch, the Germans have all reported double-digit increases over the last 12 months. Is this something that you are greatly concerned about in the sense that this is the new normal?
There are 2 parts. First, the taboo of Holocaust is dead. People feel free of Hitler and Holocaust. They can say easily, I don't like Jews. It's a part of the population. The problem is the people who are attacking the Jews, who are killing the Jews. And in my country, I don't say I'm an anti-Muslim, I work with a lot of Muslims, but all the Jews who have been killed since 12 years have been killed by Muslim people. So there is something to treat here, and this hate is strong in Islamist group. So I would say The problem is not anti-Semitism today. It's to protect the Jews, to be harassed and killed. And the strategy of the anti-Semite is to say, go. Go from France. Go from Germany. Go from Norway. Go from Palestine. It's the strategy of the ghetto. It's why we have to be strong. The church also has been attacked. A priest has been beheaded in a church. So he tries to stand together strongly. But it will be a strong fight.
I lied when I said it was my last question. I apologize, but you're such a strong supporter of Israel. I feel that I must ask you about the tie between the hate for Israel and anti-Semitism in Europe today.
It's a pretext. Anti-Semitism was very strong before the Second World War, and Israel didn't exist. They hate Israel because they are Jews. I always say, I'm not an anti-Palestinian, but I always say, if there were no Jew in Israel, I don't know how many people would care about the Palestinians.
Listen, we could go on for a long time, and I know that many people would love to talk to you. I would like to refer people to a really interesting 60 Minutes interview that you did. Was about a year or two ago, I think?
Yeah, we met 2 times, yeah.
Twice, more than me. So, listen, you are really one of the conduits of history, and I think we are so pleased to have you today, and we're grateful, not only for your work, but those of your hardworking colleagues. I'd like everybody to thank Father Patrick Desbois for joining us today.
Thank you. Merci.
Thank you.